The following may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Police bullets found at crime scene in Pettyborg. Police-issued bullets were found at the scene where 36-year-old businessman Ian Sobers in Pettyborg was gunned down on Thursday night. His death was not the result of a police-involved shooting, investigators report. On Friday, investigators said they received a report about 8 p.m. Thursday of gunshots at Butch Street South at Lynn's Spice Kitchen. When they arrived, they found Sobers gasping for breath and took him to the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex in Mount Hope, where he was declared dead at 8:30 p.m. Investigators said they recovered 10 spent shells, with 4 of them being police-issued. There were no reports of police-involved shootings in the area prior to the murder. Police said they recovered surveillance video showing a tall, dark-skinned man with a gun entering the premises before the shooting. An autopsy will be done on Wednesday at the Forensic Science Center in St. James. Newsday visited Sobers' home, but relatives declined to talk. Police said they recovered surveillance video showing a tall, dark-skinned man with a gun entering the premises before the shooting. An autopsy will be done on Wednesday at the Forensic Science Center in St. James. Newsday visited Sobers' home, but relatives declined to talk. On Facebook, a customer and friend of Sobers, Adam Gonzalez, shared his anger. He posted, "I woke up to this tragic and very sad news of your passing. Why is it that the good ones always end up here? Why is it that a mother and her son can work so hard and so selflessly to put food on people's table and smiles on their faces only for some worthless effing waste of sperm to take your life because they don't want to work hard? I am so fed up." The post generated 30 comments by 5 p.m. One read, "I just got the news as well. This beyond sickening now. Good people trying to make an honest living. Words can't express the anger and disappointment I feel with this situation and for Trinidad on a whole." Another wrote, "I am sad and pissed at the same time. Hashtag RIP Ian Sobers, definitely a good one, gone too soon." Setups. Sobers and his mother sold pies, pastels, ponche creme and other foods. On his Facebook page, he showed off the food they sold and his dogs. Emancipation Committee says justice needed for murdered teens. The Emancipation Support Committee, ESC, is calling on citizens to do all that they can to bring justice for the 2 murdered teenagers who were killed days after they escaped from the care of the Children's Authority. In a media release on Friday, the ESC, led by Zakiya Uzoma Wadada, said there is a need for heightened concern in TT regarding the violent acts. "We have to deeply examine the causes of the violence in the society and take the necessary action to mitigate its ricochet effect on the young people who are experiencing it. Cooperation between state and citizens is necessary to implement real policy that will assist in the transformation of their communities." The release added that studies from the Pan American Journal of Public Health stated that violent acts not only affect victims directly, but their families, classmates, friends, and the rest of the community. This results in all forms of violence having damaging short and long-term effects on the physical and mental health of those involved. The committee also expressed condolences to the friends and family of the murdered teens, Antonio Francois and Simeon Daniel, both 15. The teens killing, the ESC said, will add to the statistic that the highest mortality rate in the Americas due to homicide are among males 15 to 24. Francois and Daniel were killed on March 28 after men dressed in dark clothing marked police attacked them. Their bodies were found on the roof of an abandoned house in McShine Lands, Laventille, after neighbors reported hearing gunshots. The two were among 5 teenagers who escaped from the care of the Children's Authority sometime between March 19th and 20th, after they squeezed through the burglar-proofing of a safe house in North Trinidad. The committee also called on the Police Complaints Authority to investigate the shooting since the killings were done by men in police wear. We raise our voice due to the general distress of our children, which the murder of these 2 children highlights, and reminds the society that every child has a right to be protected from danger, whether physical, mental, or emotional, as well as dangerous living situations. We understand that the Children's Authority was established to promote the welfare, care, and protection of all children, and to safeguard them from all forms of abuse and neglect, and in particular, to provide care and protection for vulnerable and at-risk children. In light of the murder of these young boys under their care, the authority needs to examine if they have been provided adequate resources to fulfill their mandate, and speak up if they are under-resourced. Murdered teen tested positive for COVID-19. One of the 2 teens who ran away from the Children's Authority safe house, only to be murdered later, tested positive for the COVID-19 virus, his mother told Newsday. When Newsday contacted Nicole Brathwaite about the funeral arrangements for her son Antonio Francois, she said that as a result of the COVID-19 positive test, there are concerns about the intended burial of her last child and only son. They told me he was positive, but I did not see any documentation, and they did not put that on the death certificate, she said, adding that she was contemplating getting a second test done by a private lab to confirm. Newsday contacted officials at the Forensic Sciences Center, who confirmed that Francois was swabbed and tested positive for the virus. The official, who did not want to be named for fear of repercussions, said the test results should not hamper Francois' burial, since the bodies of other people brought to the center for autopsy, which tested positive, were later buried. When contacted on the issue, Cheryl Moses Williams, the Public Education and Communications Manager at the Children's Authority, directed Newsday to the Ministry of Health. Asked if the safe house Francois escaped from will be sanitized and those in close contact with him be placed in quarantine, Moses Williams said she would have to get back to Newsday with any such information. Up to 6 p.m., she had not gotten back to Newsday with a response. Francois, along with Simeon Daniel, both 15, was gunned down on March 28. Their bodies were found on the roof of an abandoned house in McShine Lands, Laventille, after neighbors reported hearing gunshots. The 2 were among 5 teenagers who escaped from the care of the Children's Authority sometime between March 19th and 20th, after they squeezed through the burglar-proofing of a safe house in North Trinidad. 2 of the remaining 3 children are still on the run, while the 3rd was found after the double killing. Brathwaite said she was informed he may be in quarantine. Moses Williams said the families of both murdered teens were offered support but did not specify. Brathwaite said she was offered counseling and financial aid for her son's burial. Newsday also called and WhatsApped Daniel's mother, Nathalie Brathwaite, but got no answer. Daniel was also tested for COVID-19 but was negative for the virus.